Hello and welcome to chapter 28, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and all of those other funky things that we all love on the world of YouTube. And if you remember last time, we'd had Heathcliff at his most gothic villainy. So let's continue, shall we? Let's have a look. So chapter 28, and we've got some uncertainty here from Nelly about time, but I thought, that's just another reminder of the unreliable narration that we all know and love from Nelly as well. Here's Zilla again. So Zilla's been misled really about the nature of where Nelly and Catherine have actually been. There was a talk about you at Gimmerton. I never thought that you were sunk in the Black Horse Marsh and Missy with you till Master told me you'd been found and he lodged you here. So there's this rumour been going around, this false story that they'd been stuck in the marsh and they'd been rescued. Your master is a true scoundrel, I replied, but he shall answer for it. He needn't have raised that tale. It should all be laid bare. Zilla says it's not his tale about your being lost in the marsh, and I calls to her and she'll come in. Hey, there's queer things, Mr. Hareton, happened since I went off. So this rumour has actually just been going round. Heathcliff is one of those things where he's really kind of been quite happy to neither kind of confirm or deny or play along with it effectively. If they have been in the marsh, they are out now, Zilla. It's not exactly a lie, but it's not exactly the truth. So he's sort of allowed to indulge in this fantasy of it, this particular story. The bog water got into her head. The bog water got into her head and she would have run home quite flatty. But I fixed it so she came round to her senses. So that is actually a lie, Heathcliff. Come on, there you go. So Zilla must be a bit stupid, really. She lacks the perception of Nelly, obviously, as a servant there as well. You can better go to the graduate once, as she able, and carry a message from me, and that a young lady will follow in time to attend the squire's funeral. Mr. Edgar is not dead, I gasped. Oh, Zilla. No, sit you down, my good mistress. He's not dead. So there's old Dr. Kenneth. So Edgar Linton, as we've said in previous chapters, he's not long for this world, not long for this novel. Then we have more of everyone's favourite wonder wimp, Linton Heathcliff. Linton lay on the settle, sole tenant, sucking a stick of sugar candy. So he sounds really childish there, doesn't he? Really infantile. So Bronte keeps on presenting us with Linton Heathcliff as a very weak, sickly, very childlike, almost baby-like. And pursuing my movements with apathetic eyes. Where is Miss Catherine? I demanded sternly, supposing I could frighten him into giving intelligence by catching me alone. He sucked on like an innocent. So there's a simile there with the idea of him being very much like a baby. No, he replied. Sorry, I should have said, is she gone? No, he replied. She's upstairs. She's not to go. We won't let her. You won't let her, little idiot. Nelly tells it like it is. Papa would make you sing out if you attempted to get there. So Linton we've said before, haven't we? He combines all of the worst qualities of Heathcliff and the Linton line. He's got that kind of nastiness about him. He's quite happy to support his father if it means that he's not going to get in trouble himself. He's not a very nice character, is he? He resumed his former occupation, closing his lids as if he meant to drop asleep. Rock-a-bye, Linton, on the settle. Enjoy your sugar candy. You don't show much metal. There you go. That took me ages to think of that. And you join him against her. So that actually links back to what I just said about how he's quite happy to be supporting of Heathcliff's cruelty if it's a way of protecting himself. You could pity your own sufferings and she pitied them too, but you won't pity hers. Linton is very cowardly, isn't he? So again, he's depicted like that here. You're a heartless, selfish boy. Can't argue with that one, can we? I can't stay with her, he answered crossly. I'll not stay by myself. She cries, so I can't bear it. Look how selfish that is. So he's got the selfishness of his father there as well, isn't he? She cries, so I can't bear it. So he's not worried that she's crying. It's more that, I can't stay with her because it upsets me. I can't put up with it. I did call him, but bearing in mind she's imprisoned, you know, I did call him once and he threatened to strangle her if she was not quiet. So more of this continuing theme of domestic abuse and violence there as well. Mr. Heathcliff out. He's in the court. By talking to Dr. Kenneth, he says, Uncle is dying truly at last. I'm glad, for I shall be master of the Grange after him. Linton, you horrible little boy. He's not even that little. Catherine always spoke of it as her house. It isn't hers. It's mine. Papa says everything she has is mine. All her nice books are mine. And she'll have to give me them and her pretty birds and her pony Minnie if I could get the key of our room and let her out. But I told her she had nothing to give. They were all mine. So Linton Heathcliff is doing his horrid Henry routine there, effectively. So, yeah, Bronte, as I said, she presents him as... He's got the same kind of selfishness of his father. He's got that same sense of greed. There's this callous streak about him there as well. He just hasn't got the physicality to kind of act out as cruelty. I think if he was able to, he probably would. He probably would actually be even more like Heathcliff in that respect. He took the one I had away and ordered her to resign hers to me. She refused, and he struck her down and wrenched it off the chain and crushed it with his foot. So this was a pendant. So a kind of personal item there. Then it had a picture of her mother's portrait. So obviously Heathcliff would react like this to it. You were pleased to see her struck, I asked, having my designs encouraging his talk. I winked, he answered. I winked to see my father strike a dog or a horse. He does it so hard. Yet I was glad at first. She deserved punishing for pushing me. But look at the cruelty. She made her cheek cut on the inside against her teeth and her mouth filling with blood. She gathered up the bits of the picture and went and sat down with her face to the wall. She has never spoken to me since. So again, Bronte demonstrated Heathcliff's cruelty and the very violent, visceral language here you have. And what apartment is it? Oh, he cried, I shan't tell you where it is. It is our secret. Nobody, neither Hareton nor Zilla, is to know. There, you've tired me. Go away, go away. Linton Heathcliff. You could draw up a table of least likeable characters in Wuthering Heights. He's going to be pretty high up, isn't he? I consider it best to depart without seeing Mr. Heathcliff and bring that says in the older one, and bring a rescue for my young lady from the Grange. So she wants to go and get help. But to hurry up and shout the news at Mr. Edgar's door. But I spoke the announcement of it myself. He's really ill here. Look, he lay an image of sadness and resignation, waiting his death. Very young he looked. This deliberately parallels Linton Heathcliff as well as, again, of the Linton family. I'd say genes, but you know what I mean, like the kind of same kind of family ill health. So he's 39. One would have called him 10 years younger at least. He thought of Catherine, for he murmured her name. I touched his hand and spoke. I related our compulsory visit and detention at the Heights. But she does keep some of the information away because she's trying to protect the sick Edgar Linton. My intention being to add no bitterness if I could help it to his already overflowing cup. So there's a metaphor there for you. He divined that one of his enemy's purposes was to secure the personal property as well as the estate to his son, or rather himself. So yeah, we know Heathcliff's kind of Gimmerton edition of Monopoly, of getting all this property for himself, his real life Monopoly. However, he felt that his will had better be altered. Instead of leaving Catherine's fortune at her own disposal, he determined to put it in the hands of trustees for her use during life and for her children, if she had any after her. By that means, it could not fall to Mr. Heathcliff should Linton die. So Edgar Linton is trying to rescue the situation, even though he's very weak, try and alter the will so it can keep the money and the wealth away from Heathcliff, ultimately. I dispatched a man to fetch the attorney in Formore, providing him with serviceable weapons to demand my young lady of her jailer. So we said before, like the Gothic genre, you get women imprisoned. Now there's going to be a party formed to rescue them, but this rescue party turned out to be a little bit on the rubbish side. They brought word that Catherine was ill, too ill to quit her room. Lies. Heathcliff would not suffer them to see her. I scolded the stupid fellow as well for listening to that tale. So again, Bronte showing, Nelly is a no-nonsense, perceptive character. These faceless servants who went up to try and rescue her are easily conned. So, oh, she's ill, you can't come in. Oh, okay. And off they plod. Her father shall see her, I vowed, and vowed again, if that devil be killed on his own doorstones, in trying to prevent it. And that's another devil reference for Heathcliff that we are very much used to by now, if you've been following all of these videos, as I hope you have been. Then I said I must go first and tell of her arrival, imploring her to stay. She should be happy with young Heathcliff. She stared, but soon comprehending why I counseled her to utter the falsehood, she assured me she should not complain. I've skipped a bit here, sorry, and I should have said it's Catherine does actually escape from Wuthering Heights. It turns out with the help of Wonder Wimp himself, Linton Heathcliff actually musters up a little bit of courage to actually do something right for a change. So he actually helps her to escape. But he does suffer for that, to be fair. I remember we said as well, as annoying as he is abused himself by his father and intimidated and bullied and beaten as well. So it does explain some of his actions, but not necessarily everything. So here we go. Edgar Linton, he died blissfully, Mr. Lockwood. He died so. That's not Mr. Lockwood dying. That's Nelly telling Lockwood that Edgar Linton has died. None could have noticed the exact minute of his death. It was so entirely without a struggle. I think Bronte depicts it this way because of Edgar Linton's really kind of innate goodness. So he has a peaceful death where he's thinking about Catherine, as in when he was married to, and I think that's what Bronte's up to there. He's got a peaceful death. He's a good man and he dies peacefully. He had sold himself to Mr. Heathcliff. That was the cause of his delay. Oh yeah, this is about Mr. Green, the lawyer, the attorney, as he's described, and so he's really going to be working for Heathcliff now to effectively manipulate things and everything. So that's why they couldn't get hold of Mr. Green to rewrite this will. If you're American, then Mr. Green, you might be thinking of the board game Clue, or Cluedo, as it is in the UK, but it's not that one. It is Mr. Green is the attorney, and he gave all the servants but me notice to quit. So they get rid of all. He comes in, Thrushcross Grange. Mr. Green, acting on behalf of Heathcliff, dismisses all the servants. Then he would have carried his delegated authority to the point of insisting that Edgar Linton should not be buried beside his wife, but in the chapel with his family. There was the will, however, to hinder that, and my loud protestations against my infringement of its directions. So it does actually manage to. He does actually get buried there with Catherine. So aspects of the will must have gone through, but I don't think all of it must have gone through legally. If they couldn't find Mr. Green, it must be just one that he'd written out, I would assume, but not necessarily legally enacted. I think that's what we can gather from this. Please correct me if I'm wrong. She told me that her anguish had at last spurred Linton to incur the risk of liberating her. So that's how he did it. But look, the most interesting thing for me here is how Bronte creates a deliberate parallel with the early part of the novel when not only young Catherine being connected to the original Catherine, but she actually leaves Wuthering Heights. She escapes through Catherine's bedroom through the same window that Lockwood sees the ghost through. So it's useful for, again, the imagery of windows and doors in the whole novel as well. There's a recurring motif of those as liminal spaces you can cross over between spaces. So for Catherine, in this case, young Cathy, it's between freedom and, well, it's the other way around really, imprisonment and freedom. But earlier on in the novel, the same window represents a crossing over of life and death, doesn't it? And dreaming and awake. And so you can talk about liminal spaces. That wasn't a very smooth liminal there as I was saying it. But anyway. And also she escapes with the aid of nature by means of the fir tree close by. Her accomplice suffered for this share in the escape, notwithstanding his timid contrivances. So that means Linton Heathcliff made up some pretty rubbishy lies. He tried his best, but he did help her, but he did suffer for it. So there's a little bit of a redemption for Linton Heathcliff there. Not a lot, but at least he did do the right thing and allow Catherine to escape so she could go and see her dying father. Anyway, that's the end of that chapter. Hope you enjoyed that. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, watch the other videos, and have a good day or night, whatever you are doing. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.